Hello, and welcome to the top 32 game of the Smogon low tier tournament. I figured do things a little more officially here than just doing a recap of the battle since the other videos are up and now we have a chance to do kind of a live version of the battle. Our opponent this week is MonkeBoi. I gotta say, he is one of the most diverse players I've played in terms of his builds and his sets. He doesn't really have a whole lot of go-tos that he likes. I did watch through some of his replays, and all I know is just like me with the Dunsparce, his hard carry is Iron Leaves, and it is incredibly hard for us to deal with. So these are the teams you're looking at now. We do have the Talonflame in common. We both have a really strong base 80 Pokemon. And then I've got some more like defensive utility where he's got a lot of different offenses and a couple of odd picks in the low tiers. The Mabostive has only come to one game, and it was a Taunt Crunch set, which I thought was pretty cool. It was pretty fitting. And then he's got Pincurchin as his only non-rocks hazard setter. Since Gastrodon hard walls it, I really don't expect him to bring Pincurchin, but I do think Samurot's definitely coming to this game. I think Grass Knot plus 3 attacks, like water attacks or other coverage, is really strong into my team. So I do anticipate that to show up with either an Assault Vest or a Life Orb. But hopefully we've got some tricks. So we'll look at the team. So here's the team we're bringing in this battle. The Dunsparce set I brought once before. This is actually the set that got shut down by Taunt, so this time I am bringing the Mental Herb because every Pokemon he has that's faster than the Dunsparce can learn Taunt. So I just want to be extra sure that I'm able to get that agility up before I get taunted. Otherwise, I really wanted to run Throat Spray, but I just thought it wasn't worth it. I thought we needed that speed way too much. The Mismagius, I think, can win in the late game if we can get set up with Grimmsnarl, Parting Shot out on something less offensive. So that's kind of our hopes there. Max Speed Talonflame is just, at worst, we have a 50% chance of taunting the opposing Talonflame and stopping it from roosting, defogging, things like that. Otherwise, we always outspeed and taunt it unless it's max speed Gale Wings, but I've noticed he really doesn't like running Gale Wings. He usually runs Flame Body, so that's something to keep in mind. We've got our Grimmsnarl just to be annoying. I really wanted Thunderwave on it. There's one set that he can bring that I can think of right now that pretty much instantly beats me, but I can't prep for every possible Terra type of Iron Leaves, so I had to just hope he doesn't bring the specific set that beats me. So yeah, we've got the Parting Shot, the Reflect, because a lot of his team is physical. We've got Taunt to prevent Pincurchin from setting up spikes and T-spikes if it does manage to show up. And Spirit Break is just good offensive coverage into his team. It hits everything except Talonflame, at least neutrally. We've got the Gallade. I fought with this set for so long. I had a sub bulk up set at first, and then I switched that over to Mismagius. I wanted to run a bunch of different coverage moves, Aqua Cutter, some other options, but at the end of the day, we really don't need much more than Sacred Sword. We just need something to hit the Gardevoir, and preferably something to hit Talonflame if it's weakened. So Shadow Sneak does both of those things. +2, Shadow Sneak has a pretty good chance to KO Gardevoir and does like, I don't know, 60% to Talonflame. So if we can weaken it, Gallade might just win. We also have the Endure Salic Berry. Helps us outrun most of his team, at least up to the Iron Leaves, if we can get that off. And Sacred Sword's just huge. It always KOs max defense Gudra, no matter what, and it pierces past Iron Defense. So I think it's really strong here. And then the Gastrodon is kind of here to help us get the Talonflame weakened. Chip it down with Rocky Helmet. We've got the Chilling Water to help us 1v1 things like the Mudsdale. And then we've got Stealth Rock to help keep hazards up, keep pressure on his team, because some of my Pokemon, when boosted, like the Dunsparce without the Throat Spray, things are rolls a lot more often than they're guaranteed KOs, so getting those rocks up just helps us with that, and also forces his Talonflame in more often to try to get rid of them. So hopefully this team wins. The one set we definitely lose to is if Iron Leaves is Terra Fire, speed boosting with Swords Dance. Obviously, it has to fight for coverage if it runs that specific set, but I think if he runs the right moves and runs Terra Fire, it's really difficult for me because I'm bringing double Will-O-Wisp to try to just burn the leaves, assuming that he expects me to bring Thunderwave Grimmsnarl for it, because if it's Terra Fire, Thunderwave's better, but it could also go Terra Electric, which I think is generally better into my team looking at things like the Talonflame. So we'll see how it goes. We'll have the battle queued up shortly, and we will be right back. And we are back, and we have our battle against MonkeBoi. And he brought Terra Grass on the Iron Leaves, which means that it's probably maybe banded. The only other time he brought Terra Grass, it was a choice band set. He did bring the Pincurchin, the Mabostiff. Did not bring Talonflame at all, which means no removal. So rocks are free once I get them up. He also did not bring the Mudstale. Ah, shoot. That was going to be my setup fodder for a lot of my Pokemon. So I wonder what his answer for Gallade is. So he will lead the Grimmsnarl. He leads Mabostiff. I did anticipate this potentially being a lead. He might be Taunt, but I'm definitely able to get a Reflect up before he can do anything, and we actually 1v1 it with Spirit Break unless it's like banded. Because Play Rough will do like, 30 odd %. He switches instantly into Goodra. Interesting. Does he want to set up Goodra, or does he want to just hit me with a Heavy Slam or a Flash Cannon? So Assault Vest Goodra, Flash Cannon's doing like 80%, which is pretty scary, but he could also just be going for Acid Armors. I do want to Will-O-Wisp it with Talonflame if possible, unless it's a special set. If it's a special set, then Gastrodon's really good for it, and I can go ahead and get my rocks up. I think I will just Parting Shot. Okay, he doubles into Gardevoir. So he went into Goodra, I said Reflect, he goes into Gardevoir, probably expecting Light Screen. So now he's a -1 Gardevoir. Talonflame's pretty free. Mismagius is kind of free, but it's a little early to try to get that set up. I think I might go ahead and go into it just to kind of scare him out. Especially at -1, he's not doing much. Or I could go ahead and go Gastro, get rocks up. But that invites in the Leaves, which is pretty scary. Let's see. He could also have Energy Ball for Gastro, which would be bad. So we're just going to go into Maggie. Go into our Mismagius. I don't know if he's anticipating me to do something else. Scarf Gardevoir at -1 is not doing much at all. So we'll just go for a sub. Goodra comes back in. This was something I wanted to set up on, so I'm okay with this. I will just go for a Will-O-Wisp. We do miss, and he is Curse, okay. So we do want to land a Will-O-Wisp. He might switch out now that I've revealed it. We do land the second one. Is he Lum? No. Is Dragon Claw. Does not break the sub, but now with Reflect on it, probably does. So if we look at Mismagius into Goodra, yeah, our Shadow Ball, if he's Assault Vest, well, he can't be Assault Vest. Our Shadow Ball is doing like 18%. Dragon Claw +1 but burned is only doing like 30 odd %. So I'll just go for a Shadow Ball here. Get some damage. Hex would have been better in this situation. Did not anticipate a Curse Goodra, but I think it also is just good to get damage. So let's see, we do 14%. We get a Spadef drop, which is lucky. He crits on the sub. He's not leftovers. Dang, that only did 14%, so he's very Spadef. Probably careful, max health, and he still has to have some more stats in there. So yeah, this Dragon Claw is doing like 30%. My Shadow Ball with him at -1 Spadef is doing like 20. I don't think I want to give up this win con, so we'll just go into the Gastrodon here. He does Curse again. Unless he's Rest, this shouldn't beat me. While Burn, it's only doing 25%. It's really not doing much, and Earth Power is doing a ton to him. So I'm just going to set up rocks, ignore the threat. Oh, he does stay in. Okay, he is Rest, so he does get rid of the Burn and Chesto. So with that, he might two-shot me. If I look at Resto, Chesto, Dragon Claw, and maybe Body Press is a 4th. So he's no longer burned. Is it +2/+2? Earth Power might two-shot. Almost. 44%. Goes for another Curse. He's not going to beat me 1v1 anymore. We'll Earth Power again. He Dragon Claws and Helmet will take him out. Okay. So unfortunately now we've given him a opportunity for Leaves to come in and set up. But if Leaves comes in, we do just sat Gastrodon to it. Maybe we spam Chilling Water, because at the end of the day, we really just need chip damage on it to take it out. So the helmet was kind of non-advisable there. I would have liked to have been able to recover before he got knocked out. but can't really do anything about that. He could also wait to bring in leaves since I have so many answers for it in the back. Does bring in Samurai, it probably has Grass Knot. Do I want to let this go down, or do I want to save it as a sack for something else later? Because Grass Knot he will chip himself, and this could give me the opportunity to set up with someone else. Can Samurai really do anything to Grimmsnarl? I don't know what set he would be running. I assume it's mixed. I assume it's Grass Knot. Gastrodon's really kind of a liability for me here, so we'll just let it go down. Just go for a Chilling Water. Okay, he's Swords Dance. So that's scary. We turned his +2 boost into a +1 boost. We do have the Gale Wings Talonflame. If we look quickly at what that does. So that's doing like 40%. So depending on our Earth Power here. Yeah, Earth Power should do enough to get it in range. Okay, he's sub. So not letting him sub SD. But what would his coverage be? So interesting. He's probably Aqua Jet, but he wants something to hit this. It can't just be water. Maybe Sacred Sword? I will go for another Earth Power. Yeah, he Swords Dances again, so I am going to have to pop my Gale Wings to take this out, unfortunately. It's not what I wanted to do, because that leaves me vulnerable to Iron Leaves, but it's what we've got to do. Okay, and okay, nice. That's perfectly takes both of us out. So Mega Horn. So that set was not really walled by Maggie, sort of walled by Maggie. Pincurchin comes in. We can go into our Grimmsnarl. He's Electric Surge, so nothing is sleeping. I will just taunt. I really don't want spikes on my side. He does go for the Toxic Spike. Okay. People have really enjoyed bringing Toxic Spike versus me. I guess I don't have a Grounded Poison, so it makes some sense. Discharge doing like 30%. This is a really easy mon for me to set up something on. I just don't know what yet. So we'll just hit it with a Spirit Break first. 33, okay. So it's not very defensive. And he's Zing Zap. It is physical. So we'll go for a Reflect into the Gardevoir. Reflect's not really helping us much, but I can just go for a Parting Shot now. So what is he going to go for? If he has Shadow Ball, he probably goes for it because Miss Magius kind of gets bonked otherwise. So, but I will just go into it. Moonblast does 50%. Wow, okay. So you are choice specs, huh? Look at Miss Magius into Gardevoir. Choice specs at -1. Yeah, that's 100% choice specs Gardevoir. Should never be able to KO me here unless he's modest. My Shadow Ball never KOs him in return. I could also Calm Mind, because that would put me in a decent position in any way unless he goes into the leaves here, which I don't think is his play. So we'll Calm Mind. Moonblast again. We do eat that hit. And now our Shadow Ball KOs him, probably? Yeah. Well, it's a roll. We will go for it. Mabostiff comes in. Okay. 32%. We lowered Spadef. We're getting really lucky with these Spadef drops. Yeah, 32%. That's like no bulk Mabostiff. Does it get Sucker Punch? I actually don't know that much about this Pokemon, to be honest. If we do -1 Spadef, 44 to 50. Yeah, we're not knocking it out with this. I can burn it, and that could potentially open the door for Gallade to win. I think I will go for the burn. Okay, we do get it. He's Terrain Booster. Okay, so we live the crunch thanks to Reflect and Burn. Wait, that crunch did 30%. Yeah, that's standard, non-banded. We can save Maggie, though. So now that he's burned, stake out whatever I bring in will take a big hit. But then we might be able to set up on it. So if I look at the done, yeah, even with the stakeout boost, it's not doing too much to Dedun, up to 40%. And we get the rattled speed boost, so we may not even need to agility. So 34%. More than I expected, actually, through the burn. So maybe he's adamant. So here I'm at +1 speed. If I agi, then I am definitely outspeeding Iron Leaves, even if it is speed booster. I don't know that he has coverage for me, but I also can't just Terra Ghost in front of this thing, so we'll just agi. Brings in the leaves instantly. Not booster energy. Is it choice banded, and that's why he's terrain booster. So he is grass Terra. Let me just triple check that because it would be a throw if I boom bursted and not. Yeah. He's grass Terra. So we'll just Terra. He Terras boom burst, 54%. He leaf blades, takes us out. Wow. So probably banded. Well, with grass Terra, I guess it doesn't have to be banded. So I guess my only real play here is the Talonflame. His win condition here is saving this in the back and bringing in Pincurchin so that I lose my Gale Wings. If he's banded, he also shouldn't be able to KO me with Leaf Blade at all. So I think I can actually go for a Will-O-Wisp here, trying to catch like Pincurchin or Mabostiff coming in. I could also double into Grimmsnarl. I just really don't expect him to stay in. So we'll double into Grim. He also doubles, nice. We do call the switch. We do just need to keep that Gale Wings, and we always beat the leaves. So I can just reflect up again here. He taunts me. That does mean I'm forced to Spirit Break. Does he know my full? Yeah, he knows my full moveset. He does just play rough. It does 13%. Drops my attack, which is not good. Now the Gardevoir is a little freer. The Specs, Moonblast Gardevoir. Gallade is really kind of a liability in this endgame. Do I just let Grim go down here? So he has to set up terrain with Pincurchin, get the speed boost on leaves. So I just need something to beat this Gardevoir. And at 76%, Mismagius can do that alongside Shadow Sneak Gallade. So I think I do just let Grimmsnarl go down here. So taking a Moonblast, obviously don't live. Now, what's the order? I can Shadow Ball with Maggie first, or I can Shadow Sneak with Gallade. The risk is if he's bulky specs, Sneak with Gallade. Oh, it's definitely not enough because I'm not Sword Stanced up. So I think my play has to be Maggie. We Shadow Ball. If he goes Pincurchin, we try not to knock it out. We get the chip, and then we Shadow Sneak with Gallade. Hoping he doesn't switch. Okay, he does switch. Does Shadow Ball knock this out? It doesn't. That's good. He can't set up a Toxic Spike here, if that matters to him. Since he's physical, he shouldn't do much to Gallade. Gallade now always beats Gardevoir, but so does Maggie. Everything on my team beats Gardevoir now. Should. With Rock's Chip, it's a little iffy. So if Pincurchin did 32% to a Grimmsnarl, not burned. I don't know why that burned is hanging around. It's probably no attack. So into Gallade, it's still doing a lot. I don't know. I don't think it's worth sacking Gallade here. If he brings in leaves, then it's a 50-50 on Brave Birding later, which is annoying. Does Shadow Sneak knock out the Iron Leaves? No, not if he's Grass Terra. After Rocks, it's a roll, I think. Actually, I have an idea. I'm going to go for the burn. Okay, he tried to Sucker Punch me. So we do burn the Pincurchin. Now he doesn't knock us out with a hit, but he also doesn't deal with Gallade anymore. So I will just switch in the Gallade. May Sucker Punch again. So we bring in Gallade, he Zing Zaps, only does 27%. So I think I can actually Sword Stance here to win. Sword Stance. Because he gets knocked out by Burn, and I don't think there's anything he can do that's meaningful. Mementos to, okay, he reset my boost, goes in a Guardy, but I think I've won. So we just Shadow Sneak the Guardy for chip. Does 54%. Moonblast us to knock us out. We go Maggie. We Shadow Ball. Knock this out. We go Shadow Ball on the lead. Oh, and he's attack boosting. He wasn't even speed boosting. So we do win. We had the backup Talonflame with Gale Wings to Brave Bird if he was speed boosting and knocked out Miss Magus. So we do lock down the game, but that was very stressful. So we've made it to top 16 of the tournament. We'll add the kills and deaths to the counter and get that on the screen. And I guess we'll see you with another battle next week. We've survived.